at this. Look at this. Oh, my goodness me. What a room. What a room. What a bunch of people. I feel like I might be in a dream, so I might just check that I'm fully clothed at different points of this evening because Dame Sian, hello. Hello, Dame Sian. Come on, Dame Sian Phillips is here. Come on. I've just seen Liam Williams. All right, I can't look over there. I can't look over there. Liam Williams is in the house. Hero. Welcome to BAFTA. Welcome to Wales Week. Welsh people, hello. Hello. Is London treating you well? Okay, it takes a bit of getting used to, you know. It's very like home, just the buses work better, but our songs are better. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. You might walk into a bar and all of a sudden they start speaking English. Don't let it get you. Don't let it get you. They were probably speaking English before you got there. Here we are. Good one, that one. Good one, that one. So, here we are. We got Taron Egerton fans in tonight. Oh, yes! Fantastic. Is there a name for Taron Egerton fans? Is there a name for Taron Egerton fans? Just Taron Egerton fans. Got nothing. We just love him. That's amazing. Well, we love him too. He grew up in a small Welsh town, which is called, you know, the Church of St. Mary, next to the pool where the white lilies grow, next to the St. Celyn Church where the red cave. Oh, Llanfair plus Cwingig o Gyrraedd Robert St. Celyn Goch for short. And then he was whisked off to the dizzy heights of Aberystwyth. Whoa. 54 pubs now in Aberystwyth. 54 pubs. That's a long year. That's a long year. Doubles up at Christmas, so it's fine. My name's Celyn Jones. We're here to celebrate a shining light that is Taron Egerton. You know, he is our Richard Burton. He could be our James Bond, maybe the next Welsh James Bond. And this, it's a real honour to be here because it has just been glorious to watch this star rise, his talent sort of grow and grow in front of our eyes. So before we bring him out, because you don't want to listen to my rambling for too long, but I will say, let's have a look at his little show reel. You might recognise a few of his things, but this is, I love saying this bit. Carol Vorderman, hello? Hello. Oh. Still dressed. Carol Vorderman, will you give us a roll, VT?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cue.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the Kingsman, he is Eddie the Eagle, he is Rocketman, Taron Egerton!
It's a lot warmer in here, isn't it? I mean, yeah, it feels good to be home. Thank you, guys. It's lovely.
Well, welcome to a little candlelight supper.
Wow, I'm staggered. Thank you all for coming. I can't believe Carol Vorderman's here. Great to see you. How are you doing, Carol? Thank you. This is truly, truly lovely. Thank you.
It's so nice to have you here.
Thanks.
I mentioned Llanfair PG, I mentioned Aberystwyth, and this body of work of yours is incredible. It's all inspiring, and I want to talk about process, and I want to talk about inspiration, but if we could take you to begin at the beginning.
In the words of?
Well, somebody, Dylan Thomas. Yeah. That's right. To begin at the beginning. Oh. Where was the spark, you know? Where did it start?
I don't know. I suppose, you know, my mother designed clothes when she was young, so there's a bit of, there's a kind of creative thing happening there. My father's always made music, and I sort of wasn't really interested in either as a kid, but I always loved drawing and making things, and I remember at the age of about 9, I decided I wanted to buy clay, and we bought clay, and I made figurines and weird monsters and animals and things. And that was when I lived on Anglesey, and then fast forward to a few years later.
Anglesey, come on. Anyone from Anglesey? We got enough for a choir. We got enough for a fight. We got enough for a fight.
You've lost some fans there. And basically, when I was about my grandmother. In the interest of full disclosure, the vast majority of my family are from Liverpool, and whilst I do have some Welsh blood in me, and I'm keen to stress that, the vast number of my immediate family were raised in Liverpool, but all holidayed in Wales when they were very young. And my grandmother, when she got old, she moved to Aberystwyth, and we moved to Anglesey. I'm losing my train of thought now, but. Yeah, basically,
You don't have to confess that. We're claiming you anyway. I mean, you're
claim away.
You are Welsh to us.
Basically, what I was going to say is that when I was about 12 or 13, my grandmother fell ill, and we moved down to Aberystwyth to be near her, and it was a really kind of tough time. It's at that age where so much is going on for you anyway, and I struggled to make friends. But when I was about 14 or 15, I joined the Aberystwyth Arts Centre Youth Theatre, and it's. And it absolutely changed my life. I found the thing I wanted to do with my life. I found the friends I was going to have for life. They're still the best friends I have now. They were all with me on my 30th a couple of weeks ago. And it was like everything fell into place. So I don't quite know where the desire to act came from, but I suppose I've always felt a bit creative, and I've always enjoyed, community and sharing things with people and
communication.
The odd party. That's who I am. I like people. I like being around people. I'm a social animal, I suppose. And anyway, I'm rambling now, but that's.
No, not at all, because I think it is about communication, finding the clay, finding a way to interact.
Yeah.
All art comes from that desire to communicate.
Absolutely right. It's all expression.
All performers sort of can relate to that for sure, And being born in Liverpool, if you were born in an oven, wouldn't make you a biscuit. So
exactly right. Thank you. Quite right too. I'll take that. Someone write that down.
There you can have that. But I think the whole idea of sort of creativity is sort of absolutely in the DNA of your work, of your performances. Because when I think of a Taron Egerton performance, I think this is a guy that's going to leave everything out there. It's going to be, it's in your body, it's in your emotions, your emotional literacy, and it comes from that down. So I completely understand that at that moment in time.
It's a lovely thing to say. Thank you.
Well, no, it's really there. I told you I was late to the Rocketman party, but Mrs. Jones and I were leaping around the house this week, and I just was sort of astounded by the commitment, and that's what you want from artists. You personally, you want to feel them reaching out, and that's what you do with your performances. So, what was the first performance at Aberystwyth Arts Centre?
The Aberystwyth Arts Centre in. It would have been probably early 2005. Yeah, 2005. I was 15, and I joined this youth theatre, but partly because I knew some of the guys who did it, and am I sounding funny, or am I okay? And I wanted to be friends with them, basically. But I also had watched other people do these performances and felt a kind of envy, I suppose, and they were putting on A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I was given the role of Flute. And for anyone who's up on their Shakespeare, that character is an actor in the play. There's a play within a play, and that character is kind of almost sort of bullied into playing the heroine of the piece, the female lead character, And, you know, as a sort of chubby 15-year-old, fairly insecure kid, that was quite a lot to process. But, you know, after the sort of 8 to 10 weeks of rehearsal or whatever, we went on stage, and a lady named Oriel Martin from the Aberystwyth Arts Centre put together this costume for me, and it was comprised of a red cocktail dress, very high up, and sort of...
It is getting hot in here, isn't it?
It is, and some quite crude makeup, shall we say, and a sort of little wreath of flowers in my hair. And I stepped out, and it wasn't in the main theatre at the Aberystwyth Arts Centre, it was in the Round Studio, which is a lovely little studio performance space up by the bar at the Aberystwyth Arts Centre. And I walked out, and even at the very last moment, I thought, oh my God, this is it, this is the end of my life. I'm 15, I'm still a virgin, and this is the end of my life. And I walked out, and everyone laughed, and I didn't feel laughed at, I felt laughed with. And I remember just thinking, I came off stage and it was the most extraordinary high. And I knew then that this is what I was going to do in my life.
And what was the reaction from your family?
Do you know, I would love to be able to claim a romantic story of reluctant parents. But the fact of the matter is, when I was 17 and I decided to audition for drama school, you know, I didn't have any money, you know, and then it was about 40 quid to audition for drama school. I dread to think what it is now. And I went for 5 auditions, and my stepfather, shout out to Guy Evans, my mother, my auntie, my father, and I paid for one as well. And my stepfather took me down on the train, and we stayed in a hostel in Piccadilly. It was grim, and I auditioned for drama school. And so I say this to say that I am blessed in that I've always had a family that have been so incredibly supportive and encouraging of me, and not just incredibly supportive and encouraging, but they were always excited by the idea of me being an actor. And they always, I think they believed that I was going to make a success of it before I did. I really think that. 100%.
But that is a romantic story.
Well, yes, in a different way, I suppose.
Like a Dickens novel.
In a different way, I suppose. But they're amazing, just to stress how incredible my family are.
But that's any entrance into the arts. Is like space travel, isn't it? All the energy gets, all the fuel gets burned on the ground.
I really understand a parent's trepidation about, you know, a child, particularly in the climate now. You know, it's, you know, to go into a career in the arts is a scary thing, but bloody hell, it's important. It's so important, and I'm so lucky that my family supported me in that. I had a facility like the Aberystwyth Arts Centre, which was able to nurture that in me, because without those two things, I wouldn't be where I am now. Incredible.
And so RADA was the college?
Yeah, well, that year that we went down and auditioned, I didn't get a recall anywhere. Five schools. I was really gutted. I probably needed bringing down a peg or two, I think. But the following year, I went back, and I'd been away. I went and volunteered in Kenya for a while, and sort of grew up, really. I got a proper job for 6 months to pay for that trip to Kenya, and really worked. I worked in my auntie's coffee shop in Aberystwyth, which is called The Cabin, and I also worked in a clothes store called Peacock's. Never again. No, it was lovely, actually. It was lovely people. I don't know why I'm saying that's not true. But I think I just, you know, you grow up incrementally, don't you? You have little bits and bursts. And basically the following year, I think I obviously presented a version of myself that was more appealing to those people auditioning me, and I got a place at RADA, and I went when I was 19.
With all those experiences in Kenya, so you were there at 19, your year, was it, I bet you built quite a resilience then.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's that you know, not getting into drama school was a really good thing for me, I think, because it sort of teaches you, you know, I think you grow through failure and adversity, and at the time it was emotional and sad, but you know, you get over it, you grow, you come back, and yeah, you get there.
Absolutely, it's all about the grit and the fire, for sure. So you're at drama school. it fits you like a glove instantly, or is it a culture shock?
No, I really struggled actually, and there was a lady named Pat Myers who was the registrar at RADA, and she said to me in my first year, because I really struggled, she said a lot of the Welsh students suffer because it is a culture shock, and I felt very much like, one, I was one of the youngest in the year, and everyone felt very assured and worldly. And a significant percentage of them had been to uni. A couple of them had been to Cambridge, and I was a 19-year-old. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. I probably shouldn't swear. But I was a sort of 19-year-old kid from Aberystwyth who felt pretty unworldly. You know, I'd had this one trip to Africa, but it was, you know, you can't hang your whole existence on that, you know. Yeah, it took me a while, and I remember it wasn't until my third year and I got in front of an audience that I felt like I really knew where I was. I think that was a good sign that I felt like when I was in front of an audience, I felt like I knew what I was doing, and before then, I felt like I didn't have a clue. I just, you know, the voice work, the movement, all of that, it only made sense afterwards, and it does make sense, the work that I was taught at RADA, but it fell into place later. So yeah, but I made two incredible friends there who were both at my 30th birthday party. In fact, I Instagrammed a picture of the three of us recently, then and now, from 2009 to 2019, and they remain really good friends. And the wonderful thing about RADA is it's based on the course that I did is based on a Stanislavski training, and it's all about, as an actor, it's all about listening and responding, and that's all acting is. It's all about play. It's all about responding to what you're offered and responding to external stimuli, and that one nugget of truth I really felt was important at RADA is play. It's a dance. It's you and me, what we're doing now, you know, to respond that. As you know, you're an actor yourself, so, you know, that was a great thing I learned there.
And where did you see yourself? So as a student, what was the dream then?
I felt that I knew that I wanted singing to feature in my career because I'd been involved in musicals at the Aberystwyth Arts Centre, Little Shop of Horrors 2007.
Who did you play?
Seymour, obviously.
I played the plant in Caergybi Ynys Môn.
Nice, Audrey too.
Yeah, you know, have to sit with the band.
We'll do a revival. We'll do a shared revival. But what was I saying? I'm boring myself.
No, you're not boring. Is he boring?
No. What was I saying?
No, you were talking. I said, where did you see yourself? So you wanted you wanted music and singing to feature.
For me, when I was at drama school, there was nothing more cool and noble than a great career in theatre, working with great directors, doing great plays, playing great parts. The idea of being on the telly was so far-flung, and so, you know, it's no secret that lots of actors don't manage to sustain a career leaving drama school. So you aspire to work, not work in film. That's something that happens to other people. Sure. So I felt like, if I was lucky, I would be able to work with great directors at great theatres, places like the Almeida and the Royal Court and the National and the Arcola and the Donmar, and that was what I aspired to, that career, occasionally with a really good advert to pay the mortgage. That's what I really wanted.
Yeah. And what was the reality?
The reality was I was very, very lucky in that I got a really cool part in the first play I did at RADA, and it was a play, come on, Taron, The House of Special Purpose, which is about the last days of the Romanovs during the Russian Revolution. And I played a revolutionary who's this young innocent who was employed to teach the daughters how to wash their clothes. And he didn't come into the play until halfway through, but it was the right age for me. That's another thing that happens at drama school. Quite often people are cast much older, and it's a tough fact of drama school because it's a disservice to, in some respects, I think, to the students from a casting perspective. It's a necessity to do the plays that they have to do, but I was cast my age, and that really helps, I think. And it was just a really endearing role and a really likeable role. And a writer named Stephen Beresford saw me in that play, who wrote a movie named Pride, which some of you may have seen. And he saw me and recommended me to Howard Davis, and I was cast in a play at the National which was led by Julie Walters, but also starred Helen McCrory and Rory Kinnear, and there was only 6 of us in it, and it was just this. I left a term early to do that, and then I did a play at the Royal Court, which was really, really cool, a Polly Stenham play. and then I got a role in a series called The Smoke, which was a Sky One show. Well, that's nice. You and about 17 other people, I think. But it was a great...
We had more whoops for Peacocks Aberystwyth.
But do you know what? It was an incredible... I made great friends, and in fact, Jamie Bamber, who was the lead in that show, was at my 30th birthday 2 weeks ago. And he really is, he's rivaled only by Hugh Jackman as the nicest man on the planet. So I did that, and it was during filming of that show, which was a wonderful experience for me and a formative experience for my screen career. I got this email from my agent, Lindy King, and it said Huntsman and Son on it, and I was like, well, what is this? And I opened it up, and there were 2 scenes in it. And one of them was this little kid, this little upstart kid, sitting down with this guy in a suit. And they have this kind of battle, and halfway through, the gentleman in the suit gets up and kicks the living daylights out of 5 hoodlums. And I read it, and I read the part, and it's never happened to me in my life up to this point. I read it, and I went, this is my part. I've got to play this part. And it was Kingsman. And I went along, and I auditioned for Matthew Vaughn, and it started... And I don't mean to sound presumptuous saying, this is my part. I knew that it was an astronomical chance of getting it. I absolutely knew that. But I just felt viscerally, I just felt viscerally that it was I had to do it. And so I think I went to the audition with that in me. And that was the start of a sort of 4 to 6 week audition process. And I ended up getting the role, and that was the start of my journey with Matthew Vaughn, who's been a huge champion of me in my career and a great friend and someone I owe a huge debt to.
It's a very potent thing as a performer when somebody sees something inside you that you've never verbalized yourself, but it's very, very strong.
Well, when someone, when the guy who directed the last X-Men movie says to you, I think you're special, I want to work with you, and puts you as the lead role in a movie that's $100 million movie, it's like...
You're not in Kansas anymore.
Exactly, yeah. Who's Toto? Am I Toto or are you Toto?
I think I look like Toto, yeah.
Only for this role, though. And that was a truly extraordinary experience. Is where I met my girlfriend, who's here this evening, and Matthew and I, made a movie that we were, and Colin too, really, really proud of, and it was a great time in my life. But it was, it's weird. 7 years obviously isn't a long time to a lot of people, but to me it feels like a really long time. I was 23 then, and I'm 30 now, and it's been a wonderful thing for me, and it's opened so many doors for me, Kingsman, and I will be glad to return to it next year for one last instalment.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's transformative. Did the physical aspect of the performance come natural to you?
Well, yeah, bloody hell. It's like, I spent my teens in Rummers drinking lager in Aberystwyth, so all of a sudden it's like chicken and veg and nothing but sparkling water for 4 months. Bit of a shock to the system. But yeah, that was. But what I loved about that part is, aside from all of the incredible action and the incredible acts I was working with, and a director of Matthew's pedigree, what was really, really wonderful about it to me was it felt like a character, in the way that Eliza Doolittle's a character. It's Pygmalion at the core of it, and that to me felt hugely exciting. And the thing about Pygmalion, or My Fair Lady, is that it's a really defined arc, and as an actor, that's what you want. You want an A and a B, and then you want to fill in between, and you plot it through scenes and important moments. Because, it's why everyone loves superheroes. It's metamorphosis. We want to see people change before our eyes. It's electrifying. And, I didn't think about it in these terms at the time, but that's what I felt on a visceral level. That's what I was excited by about the character.
But those characters don't work unless an audience can relate to them.
Well, yeah, and exactly that's it, exactly. Yeah. And Eggsy just had this real rawness to him and this real reality to him. He was an angry young man, I know that Matthew's inspiration for it came from the London riots, for that whole idea. It was just an incredible gift of a part. And Matthew and I have had our Barneys over the years, and he can be a bloody nightmare. But I tell you what, I love him with all my heart. I really do. I cannot thank him enough for doing that.
That's the best relationship.
Yeah.
But also, it's not just a relatable character. I think you're a relatable performer.
Thank you.
You transform into all these characters that you play and you immerse yourself in, and there's that quality that, that's what all leading men and leading women need, is that the audience can attach themselves to them and live through it. So you can be as dark as you can, or you can be as light as you can, or you can be as heavy or strong, but we're with you all the way.
Thanks, Celyn.
No, it's just what I see, and I bet everybody agrees with us. It's why we're here, you know, in that. But is that something, I mean, you're a very personable guy, and is there do you have to protect a lot of yourself when you're going into a role, or is it all in? Is it all
No, I
2 feet first?
I definitely like things that feel like they require a bit of a leap away from yourself, you know, and things that feel like it's at least something of a departure, because then you feel creative. And I think I always felt like Eggsy, although he was, you know, there was a great team of people who made me look very dashing, from a physical trainer to a great hair person to a wonderful makeup artist and great costumes. But, you know, it still felt like a character to me. There was this guy, you know, he was like, I remember one of the first reviews for that movie referred to me as a bulldog of an actor with squinched up features. And my mum was like, oh, I don't like that. And I was like, you kidding? I bloody love it. That's great, you know? Yeah, exactly. But I felt, you know, I think that's what I like. I like that feeling of something you can completely throw yourself into. I like physicality in a role. I like, and above all else, you know, because there's always strength written into roles. We see so much strength in cinemas, but vulnerability and true vulnerability, a true ability to sit with your feelings and acknowledge them and let them be a part of you, and then to express them through a character. They're the performances that I admire. They're the things that I watch and really feel excited by, and that's what I want to bring to my work.
You absolutely bringing it. So the relationship with you and Matthew, and there's another important relationship here, which is Dexter Fletcher.
Who?
He was in Press Gang.
So yeah, I mean, you know, Dexter and Matthew have this relationship that goes back, I mean, at least to Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, which Matthew produced and Dexter stole in the role of Soap. And I remember about 5 years ago, I went to a gig at the Camden Roundhouse, and no, even before that, when we were filming The Smoke, I was with an actor named Rashawn Stone going to get some food for lunch, and Dexter comes racing past on his bike. Dexter never goes anywhere slowly. Any of you know him, he's manic. And he comes racing past on his bike, and rushing goes, Dex. And I remember we had this very brief exchange. I remember thinking, you know, oh, he's cool, he's a bit nuts, he's cool. And then the conversation in early 2015 started about doing this movie, Eddie the Eagle. And I was at a Chance the Rapper gig, who's, there we go. Is it you who likes peacocks as well? Yeah, basically I was at that gig, and Dex sort of comes out the crowd and comes up to me and goes, you all right, mate, how's it going? You know, with his, yeah, we've got to get together, we've got to have a drink, we've got to go, yeah. And then he buzzes off again, you know. And then, yeah, basically that was the first time I properly met him. And Matthew kind of brought us together, and what happened was, you know, I read this script which is called Eddie the Eagle, and...
what did Eddie the Eagle mean to you?
I thought he was Evel Knievel. I did, I had no idea, you know, it was the year before I was born, I think. And so yeah, I remember at the very, I think it must have been the very start of, no, it was 2014 the conversation about that started. So at the start of 2015, which is not long ago, but it feels long ago to me, you know, it was, I was flown to New York for a screen test for the movie, because it was this movie, although it's about Eddie the Eagle, it's a buddy movie, it's a buddy comedy drama. And Matthew and Dex had been agonising who was going to play this world-weary, incredible, charismatic, charming, handsome, drunk coach. And Matt calls me one day, I'm at home, I'm in ABBA, you know, on the lash, having a great time. And Matthew Vaughn calls me and goes, I need you to fly to New York. I was like, well, I've only been one. Okay, right, fine. What for? He said, you're going to do a screen test with Hugh Jackman. Oh my God. So I went out to New York, and me, Dex, and Hugh sat in this room and filmed this scene with me and Hugh. And we just like fell in love, the three of us. And I discovered that I have a superpower, and it's not adamantium claws, but I can make Hugh Jackman laugh so easily. I have got a power over him that you will not believe. And we just all really it all just felt really right. And so a couple of months later, we went and we made this movie, and I was very excited about it because what I'd said to Matthew at the end of Kingsman was I don't want to be, you know, I don't just want to be the young guy, you know, I don't know. I don't want to be the young ingenue, you know, sort of same thing I want to play something completely different. And he brought this Eddie the Eagle thing, and it was so exciting. And we went and we made this movie in Germany, and it was beautiful. We were out in the snow, and it was we just had the best time. And I believe, without wishing to be too self-congratulatory, I believe that it's short, it's a simple, feel-good family film, but I'm so bloody proud of it, and I'm so proud of what Dex did, and I'm so proud of what Hugh did, and me, and George Richmond, the DOP, and Matthew Vaughan, and everyone else was involved. And sadly, you know, it didn't really land at the box office, you know. It was one of those that's hard to
He didn't
market.
really land the Olympics.
No,
so
exactly. Quite right too, fair play. But do you know what? It remains just such a fantastic formative episode in my life, and I'm so proud of it. If you haven't seen it, I so urge you to see it. In fact, watch it at Christmas. It's such a good Christmas movie. But yeah, and that was a great time, and I made, you know, and that was, and when Dex and I finished that endeavour, we both felt very hungry to go on another adventure together. Yeah.
Okay, and so the process was, I guess, he's just moving into that phase, the new phase of his career.
Absolutely,
you know,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're moving into a different angle of yours.
I think that's a really lovely way of looking at it. And Dex himself has said that, you know, that I think in some respects is that he'd made 2 movies, but I think he'd been an actor for so bloody long, you know, starting out with Babyface in Bugsy Malay. Yeah. But, you know, and it was a new phase of his life as well. And we sort of felt like we were going through that together a little bit. And honestly, I still do. You know, he and I did a Q&A last night, and I really feel like we said during the Q&A, you know, I think we both really want. I'd love me and Dex, Matthew too, but Dex and I suppose recently with the incredible experience and the close experience we've had on Rocketman, I really think that moving forward over the next years of our lives, that I think we'll go away and I think we'll come together, and we'll go away and we'll come together, and I really hope for that, because I genuinely feel like I do great work when I'm with him.
You're his De Niro. You know, there we go.
Maybe Leo.
Well, yeah, there you take that one, but
Yeah.
it's and moving on to with Rocketman, because I think first of all, Eddie the Eagle is a fantastic film, and
Thank you.
It moves, it's moving, and it's entertaining, and a film is always there to be discovered forever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
And the message in it of, you know, when they announce Eddie the Eagle, the movie's coming out, you go, really? And then you think about it and go, we all just loved what that person tried to do, you know? And he captured the world, and that's what the film does. And
I think that's to Dex's credit. That I think striking that balance between something that feels, you know, almost borders on farce at times, and has comedy and drama, to make that feel, you know, to make that movie about him, and for him to truly feel, because the easy thing to do with Eddie the Eagle would have been to make him an idiot, you know. And I think, to be completely honest, there were bits of that in the script when we first looked at it, and what Dexter so deftly did was just struck a tone with it where, you know, I mean, I don't even know how he did it, you know, because I'm not the director, but, you know, by the end of the movie, you are bloody rooting for him, and he is the hero of the story, and I think, and I say this about Dexter, that movie, I think, is deceptive. I think it's simple, but it's deceptive. I think it could very, very easily have been a train wreck.
oh, completely, it's deftly done, and tonally you have to.
Yeah.
They get it right, and which is otherwise.
And that's the Dexter's the man. Don't tell him I said that.
And then with Rocketman, I mean, we should, you know, I guess you've all seen Rocketman. Come on. And the nomination?
Huh?
Grammys?
So
That's pretty incredible.
So my girlfriend and I were, I think I'd been like, it's like, you know, I'd been on Instagram that morning and someone had said, congratulations on the Grammy nomination. And I was like, loonies on Instagram? And then we're sat, me and Emily, my partner, and we both got pina coladas, you know, we're living the life. And she goes, babe, you've been nominated for a Grammy. And I was like, shh, babe, what? And yeah, it was there, it was in my email, and it's like, it still feels like that must be a mistake.
It's deserved. It's so.
I mean,
deserved.
it's just mad, and you know, and I think, and in all sincerity, I am nominated for this Rocketman Grammy for music for visual media. But the reason it feels ridiculous is because I am such a cog in the machine of that record. And if anyone should be nominated for a Grammy, it's Charles Martin. So whilst I am grateful for the nomination, it would be remiss of me to claim autonomy over that process, because I was part of it, but absolutely not the lead part of it. It was Charles Martin. But I am thrilled, absolutely.
Yeah, you've got to go to the do. Come on.
Oh yeah, no, me and Giles will be going together. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Because watching Rocketman and the early years of that character, and I'm thinking, how, you know, at what point is the story, you know, when are we going to see you? When are we going to see, you know, Taron playing Elton, and then that opening sequence from the bar, just explodes. With that sort of Steadicam and the routine and the split, the fourth wall and the multiple sets, and you just go, you are hit with this wave of energy and talent and you know, and choreography, and you go, okay, this is two artists, yourself and Dexter, really
I think also
colliding.
it's worth mentioning, actually, in that breath, that I think a big part of that sequence is George Richmond, who shot it, and George Richmond also shoots Kingsman, and you know, those kind of sort of circling around one-shot things is characterises his work, and I think we all were quite in sync about what we wanted to do with that number. Like, I was a man possessed those 4 or 5 nights we were shooting that, you know, because I knew what Dexter was trying to achieve with it, and I knew what the movie needed at that moment, and it was this, you know, it was like, oh, here we go. And of course, you know, we had a little bit of help from Elton John and Bernie Taupin for writing a pretty bloody good tune. So,
So can I take you back to the beginning, so to the Rocketman journey then? So how does
that... Yeah, okay, so we did a sequel to Kingsman called Kingsman the Golden Circle, and basically there's a scene at the end of it where I get married, and Elton John plays the organ, and it's Elton John. And I remember as we were filming it, I've told this story before, but I was sat down in the bit at the I'm not great with religious terminology, the bit at the front of the church, but and basically
the altar.
The altar, exactly. Yeah, I was at the altar, and someone comes up to me, one of the ADs, and says, "Oh, Sir Elton would like to meet you." And so I climb the stairs at the back and go up to, you know, the area that he's sitting in, chilling in, and sit down with him, and it's like, you know, you know, even now I'm regressing. Like, it was just a crazy feeling. I sit down and he just looks at me and he goes, you know, if I were 5 years younger, it would be me you were marrying now. And pretty much up to the conversation I had on the phone with him yesterday, that's kind of been what it's like. But aside from that, he's I would probably go so far as to call him a mentor of sorts, and has really become a huge part of my life and been a great friend. And, you know, the relationship has kind of evolved and mutated into something that's, you know, so familiar now. You know, Emily and I went and stayed with them on holiday this year. It's been a crazy journey, and but basically, to go back
How did he know you can sing? When did he hear you sing?
So this would have been at the start of 2016, and about 2 months after that, we were still filming, Matthew Vaughan came to me and said, how do you feel about playing Elton John in the movie about his life? And well, I don't know. I'll just, check my file of facts. Yeah.
I only do titular roles. Kingsman, Eddie.
God. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of mad. But that was how it started, and then it probably wasn't until the following year, it had been mentioned and dropped in conversations here and there, and in between that and when the conversation started in earnest, a movie called Sing had come out, and it's a kids' movie. Thank you very much. Sequel in the works for that one as well. I'm very pleased to report. But there's I play a gorilla in it, and it's a gorilla who's a sort of soul singer, and there's a big number at the end of the movie where he sings "I'm Still Standing," and I think that probably helped a bit.
It's so moving. The dad breaks out of prison.
It's a really lovely bit.
To hear his son sing, it's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you, man. You can tell you got kids.
Well, that's I went on my own.
No, I'm really proud to be a part of it and excited for the new one. But I think that helped. Anyway, come on, Taron, get on with it. So we were, that's how the Rocketman conversation started, and then probably at some point in late 2017, it was really felt like things were heating up, and Dexter had come on board. And basically what had happened was there were conversations about who should do it, and in my mind, and I think Matthew's too, there was never any doubt that it should be Dexter. I just knew what it had taken Dexter to get Eddie the Eagle into the shape it was, and I knew that he had so much to offer, and I was so excited to work with him again. And so that happened, and we basically went to Abbey Road with Giles Martin. Somehow Matthew managed to wrangle Giles Martin in to do the music. For those of you who don't know, his dad is George Martin, the fifth Beatle. At the start of 2018, we went to Abbey Road and we did this kind of previs recording, not a previs, but almost like a test really, of me sat at a piano, and I sang your song and Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me in a vintage Elton t-shirt that David Furnish gave me. And that was what we used to secure the financing from Paramount. And that was, and shortly after that, it all started to come together, and we were we were off to the races.
Amazing story, but sort of playing the role, what was your sort of entry point, sort of as an actor? Is it sort of spending time with him? Was it observing him?
I think. It's a really weird one because the movie's a bit weird, isn't it? It's not like I'm not doing an impression I'm doing my version of him in a world that...
Which is all you should do.
But it's not, I'm not mimicking him. I didn't, thank you, lovely man.
Which one?
Thank you. Sparkling, I'm not driving. Basically, I suppose I read the script, and it starts with this guy walking into rehab and saying, I'm an alcoholic, I'm a drug addict, I'm a sex addict, I can't stop shopping, I can't stop smoking weed, all the rest of it. And you go, wow, well, these are really personal things to say, and it dictates the tone of the movie because it's a movie about someone unpacking who they are. Now, the way Dex and I spoke about it is that if you're doing that, you can do an impersonation is incredible skill, and it transports you and it takes you to that world so well. But movies where that works aren't the same as a movie talking about recovery and rehabilitation, because that is such an intensely personal thing, and it requires so much deconstruction of who you are as a person that it felt to us that what we needed to do was create a version of it that is more me, really. That's Elton is angry and sad and confused and unhappy, and I can't be Elton John. I can only be me. And I can't play Elton John's anger, but I can play mine. And so that's what we did, and it's all informed by me, my own experiences, and we wanted to try and create something that felt very personal. So whilst I spent all that time with Elton, studying the music, watching videos of him, what I wanted to do, and I suppose it's that thing I said earlier about vulnerability. It's, you know, I can't play Elton's vulnerability, I can only play mine. And that's what we wanted to do. And I know I'm waffling and not making any sense, but I'm trying, but I suppose it's about, you know, Rocketman is me, and you know, it's my personality as much as it's my personality informed by my love of Elton, expressing Elton's story, I think.
And it's an extraordinary trajectory.
No one's going to be quoting that shit. Sorry.
But it's an extraordinary performance. I think we'll quote it. I think we've got some great shout-outs. The Cabin in Aberystwyth, Peacocks has been done, Aberystwyth Arts Centre. No, but bringing yourself to the role that's all a performer can do.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
you
exactly,
know,
exactly. But that was at the forefront of my mind, I think. And
was it exhausting? Or energizing? I mean, I guess
it was both. You know, I mean, there's no two ways about it. That, you know, doing that performance, you know, doing Crocodile Rock on stage at the Troubadour is an exhilarating bloody thing. And likewise, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. I remember the studio came in that day, and I burst into the tent to see them, Jim Giannopoulos and Whit Godfrey, two really, really wonderful men who run Paramount. And they must have thought I was on something, you know, because I was just like, guys, welcome, yeah, it's going really well, we're having a good time, watch this, I'm going back, I'm gonna do it again. But yeah, it's energizing, but equally, you know, when you're sat in rehab and you're talking about, you know, like, you know, I have, you know, like the relationship with the father, you know, me and my dad have our own, you know, it's a lot. It is, you know, it's like...
You and Stephen McIntosh are beautiful in that.
Yeah, I mean, he's an amazing, you know, it's a lot, and you sit in the role. I'm not someone who subscribes to this idea that you take a minute to come out of character and you've gone, you know, you're a man possessed, but, you know, you're mining stuff that's, you know, you sit in with negativity some of the time. So it is hard work, but also it's all expression, and expression at its truest feels like flying. So, you know, even when you're in a rage and you're throwing a bloody chair and you're angry, you know, there's catharsis and relief in that. So although it's a negative emotion, you're doing it for the release. That's why we do these things. So that it always feels, there's always a freedom in expression. And I feel that singing, I feel it acting, I felt it when I was a kid drawing, you know. So I'm really loath to make acting sound like hard work, because it's not. It's an absolute bloody joy, and I'm lucky to do it. And you know, and Rocketman was absolutely the best opportunity I've ever had to feel free, and I felt free doing it every day.
Well, it feels like it really matters. And it matters to people. You know, your performances matter to people. Is there a performer, an actor that you work with that really inspired you?
So, you know, I've been lucky to work with, you know, I've been lucky to work with so many people that inspire me, and for different reasons, you know. I work with, I've been so lucky. I've been on, you know, Michael Caine and Christopher Walken, and, you know, and I suppose if there's someone who springs to mind, I think Hugh Jackman for his utter decency and his kindness and his humility and his ability to look outwards and be interested rather than just being interested. Not that other people are, but I think Hugh makes an effort to look out and invest and make other people. There's two types of high status people. There are people, I think, personally, if most of this audience who are probably older than me will accept some wisdom from a jumped up 30-year-old, but I think that there are two types of high status people, and one of them elevates their own status by diminishing other people, and then there are high status people who bring other people up with them, and as a byproduct, their own status is elevated, and that's who Hugh Jackman is. And I always admire him for that quality, aside from his incredible talent as an actor, dancer, singer, gym, animal, Wolverine, monster. There's nothing that man can't do.
I mean, there must be the Taron Egerton, Hugh Jackman musical in the works. There must be.
I honestly... I normally swerve these questions. I would absolutely kill to do a musical with Hugh Jackman. I would kill, and of course it's an idea that we've discussed, but you know, just.
I'm thinking Aberystwyth with our centre. Peacocks are going to do the costumes. It's got legs. It's definitely got legs.
Do you know he went to Aberystwyth when he was 18? Yeah, he went. Yeah. I think he went there with. I don't know. He was travelling around, but he was in Aberystwyth when he was 18. Yeah. He did a really lovely video for me for Aberystwyth Arts Centre when we screened Eddie the Eagle, and talked about going to Rummers, which was a tiny fib, but it was a lovely thing of him to do.
And so, what is what does the future hold? Where are the ambitions taking you?
I don't know. Look, I'm 30 and I can't play an instrument to any decent level of proficiency. I can tinker on the piano, I can tinker on the guitar, and I just know that exactly that thing, that quality of freedom that comes with expression that I'm talking about with acting or drawing or singing. I just know there is a whole world waiting for me at the moment at which I apply myself to an instrument. That is absolutely at the front of my mind. My girlfriend bought me a guitar for my birthday. So that I want to play. I want to play different. I want to play. I want to keep. It's very apparent. I don't know what I want. I want to keep feeling. I want to feel stretched, and I want to keep doing things that make me feel like I'm moving further and further away from myself, and try and aspire to portray people like the actors who I admire. The great chameleons, the Gary Oldmans and the Joaquin Phoenixes, the Richard Burtons, the Daniel Day-Lewis's. Those incredible, brilliant, talented men. That's what I want to strive for those types of careers. And I don't know what else I want really. Happiness, long life.
So, and you feel your connection with Wales is strong?
Look, it's completely unshakable. I mean, I'm aware that that's a setup, and everyone's aware that that's a setup for me to say something nice about Wales, and I only say that because, I don't even feel, in some respects, I don't even feel the need to say it. It's absolutely where my heart is. It always will be. It's the greatest country in the world. Unless you've sat in a pub in Wales and watched the rugby, which personally I'm not that interested in, and sat with a group of people. No, you can't get cross with that. You can't derail me when I'm on a roll like that. You can't. Unless you've sat in a pub in Wales with a mixture of people from all different generations, with some drinking, some not, and hear a room full of Welsh men and women strike up spontaneously in song, you haven't lived. And that is something that I do now. I will be doing it in 2 weeks' time, and I will be doing it when I'm however long I last, But it's an incredible place. I have an apartment there. My mother is there. My two little sisters are there. Lots of my best friends are there. I will be there in, doesn't matter how many days, but soon.
You're an inspiration.
Oh,
no, you really are.
Thank you.
You really are. It's a pleasure to meet you, to talk with you, to be here at your sharing. I've had the easiest job in the world to just listen to this lovely man be so candid, so open, so honest. And it's not just saying as Wales, because it's not. It's just an inspiration to watch somebody succeed in the best way, leading from the front, not forgetting what's behind him, and embracing the future. I think you are a super talent. I think you should play Richard Burton. There's only one person to do it. And I hope you will join me in thanking Taron Egerton. And this is just the beginning. Kingsman, Eddie the Eagle, Rocketman. You haven't even reached orbit yet. It's been a real thrill.
Thank you.
Super, super brilliant.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Taron Egerton.